So with the new year already giving us a handful of movies in the market, I'm thinking of doing something a little bit differently. For the longest time I've been using a traditional 1 to 10 scale when rating the movies I see and review, but I decided that for 2022 I'm gonna do something new. I created a new rating system for whether a movie is good, bad, and how good or bad they are. Because if Jeremy Jahns can make up his own set of ratings, why can't I? So here's my set of seals I'm going to be giving movies from now on. And as you can see, they're listed in a specific order from worst to best, with the special C at the end. And just to avoid conclusion, I'll briefly explain each seal and what they represent. The seal of rage is an absolute garbage movie that should be avoided at any cost. There are little to no merit and it's painful to watch. It should not even have been made. The seal of disapproval isn't necessarily painful per se. Maybe there are some good ideas or 1 or 2 good characters or moments to ease the pain, but it's still kind of frustrating and you're constantly checking your watch. The seal of mediocrity is just that. Average or slightly below average. Just blah. Not awful per se, but you could be spending your time with something more productive. The seal of accuracy is a movie that you're like, well, that was a thing. You had a decent amount of enjoyment out of it, though you're probably not in a hurry to revisit it. The seal of approval is just that. A solid, entertaining movie that you'd recommend to anyone and you're gonna see a bunch of times in your life. The seal of cinema is a contender for one of your favorite movies of the year, or maybe of all time. It tells a story in a satisfying, emotionally engaging, and/or artistically pleasing way, and is a must-watch to anyone who likes that kind of movie. It doesn't have to be technically perfect. It doesn't have to be an Oscar-worthy period piece or anything. It doesn't have to have the most pristine cinematography and writing imaginable. It just has to be completely satisfying. And before anyone says something like, wait, you gave this movie this seal and that movie a higher seal? You clearly have no taste in movies. I'll just say that there's a difference between having all the right pieces and having a satisfying product. For instance, House of Gucci should have been great. A proven director, a solid cast, fantastic production values, and an interesting true story to explore. However, in spite of those fantastic technical achievements, I, and many other people for that matter, have problems connecting with it. It's boring as sin and it's a jumbled mess, and it's not really something I'm really looking to see again. On the other hand, I really liked The Tomorrow War as I found it to be a thrilling and emotionally powerful sci-fi action film within the lines of Independence Day or Star Wars, even though the effects and ideas aren't exactly top tier and the story isn't that original. And finally, there's going to be a special seal called the Derpy Seal. It goes to a movie where you're like, yeah, it's not exactly great or anything, but I don't care. I just love watching it. Whether it's a guilty pleasure where you just can't help but find a ton of enjoyment out of it, or a so bad it's good movie that fails at such spectacular degree that you poke fun and laugh at its incompetence. Like, you want to invite your friends to have your own Mystery Science Theater party or something. So I hope I made my new rating system clear to everyone. I'll start using it to discuss the recently released movies like Hotel Transylvania 4 and The 355, and I'll also take a look at the Scream movies before checking out the new one. So I hope everyone stays tuned for a new year for movies.